Hello, and happy brunch to you. Happy brunch, everyone. Yes, how is my hat? As you can see, I someone wanted to know why I was wearing hats. Because I like them. They're fun, and I like to play dress up. It's something I've liked. Why should I give it up? If it's fun, I've got all kinds of things. Hello, everyone. Blessings to you all. Please take a seat. We're going to get together and have brunch, and I would love it if you could join us. If you could like, subscribe, become a member, that would be wonderful. You know, water is important. We need water. They need water all over the world. They need water in Israel, Gaza, the Middle East, Africa, everywhere we need water. You can't go long without needing a nice glass of water. We're thinking about Matthew Perry, right? Didn't drink any water for a couple of hours. Now they're thinking that might have played a part. So, water, water, water. So, we're raising money for water, clean water. So, clean drinking water for everyone if you'd like to participate in our charity. But yes, I do like to play. And the question is, do you like to play? What do you like to play with? I think it's very important for our mental health that we take time to play. This is why Chuck and I got together. He and I do some really heavy stuff. You know, we've counseled people that are going through intense stuff. But the good thing about Chuck and I is we always found time to play, even during intense times, right? But one of the things I decided to do was to get a romper room for my guest when I have guests coming over for dinner or anything like that. Hopefully my friend Francis will come soon. But ooh, I found the hat I wanted. This hat is fine. This is my summer hat. This is the winter. Don't you just love that? All right, so things you can keep around your house. You can get these on Amazon for very little money. This one actually was a little expensive. I think this is a traditional Navajo. If you want to have a music circle at your house, I like to keep those around. You know, basic musical instruments. Also introduce children, and everybody can be part of this circle. The great thing also about circle is that it gets people, excuse me, sorry about that, gets people unified, right? So always have some of these when people come to visit. I also got several different types of flutes on Amazon because I thought a lot of people like flutes, not expensive. And here's twins. These are beautiful wood flutes. A great way also to introduce young people to music, and you can learn online for free. Plenty of videos on YouTube. Very simple instrument to introduce young people who are learning sheet music. And the other thing I was going to show you, if you are looking to create community, a lot of you wanted community ideas. This is something from kibbutzes. You guys wanted to know about the kibbutz. How we built utopia, but we did it with music and dance, getting people to dance in circles, and it caused everybody to be included in the dance, and it created camaraderie. So these are basic things you'll see like in the kibbutz kids room or stuff, is to encourage just that music therapy and community. So I've kind of kept with that. And here's another one that's fun. You might want to have when you've got like community gatherings. Very inexpensive also is to get yourself, y'all seen one of these? And then of course, there are more elaborate things like guitars. But those are like the small things that you can carry with you also if you're going to a gathering. If you're going to a gathering and you want people, you know, what I think it's a very ingenious thing that a lot of kibbutzes, when we started, did these kinds of community events. And the other thing I really like about it is if you're somebody who's shy or you don't know how to play a musical instrument or you're feeling out of sorts on kibbutz or in community, you can always go shalom, like hello, where are you from? And give somebody a little something to get them to be part of the Shabbat or the service. Shabbat, if it's not religious, there'd be musical instruments or whatever the party is. Isn't that just great? Yeah, so that's the coolness of having some little bit of simple musical instruments in the home if you do decide to turn your home into like an oasis. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is how we can create safe zones in our homes. We also have a couple exciting technical remote views that I think you guys are going to find pretty interesting. I'm sitting. Oh, I didn't dust. That's what it is. I apologize. Just got out of the shower, by the way. I'm sorry, my hair is wet. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. Hi, Kay Travel. Hi, Ann Dillon. Hi, Karen W. Joel Tilson in the house, our floor director. Thank you. He's going to protect me. Any questions I don't see, make sure and say, Joel. He really is the floor director. It just kind of evolved naturally. That means that he runs the floor. He is all powerful. We call him Oz. No. He's also a great cook, so be sure and get some. So he rules the roost. So be aware of that. Also, he's got some great recipes. If he can share them too. Always nice to see you here, Joel. Thanks for the help. Melody Harmon in the house, also a moderator. Give her grace and respect. She's also a remote viewer. Much, much respect. Hi, Elsie. Hi, Yolanda Renata. Good to see you. Thank you for your membership. Kay Travel to Row, remote viewer psychic, and she's helping today. Also a dear sweet friend of mine. Hopefully she's feeling good and ready to rock and roll with me soon. Can't wait to see her, to boogie down in the city. Desiree, you got to text me, Kay. From your last text, I felt like you were on a good upswing, so I'm feeling good. Hi, Desiree Robato. Thank you for your help today. Hi, Chris Crowdis, Missy Bonds. Great to see you, folks. Oh, my dear, sweet, lovely lady, Tana Acosta in the house. We have another interview we're supposed to set up, but Tani has been so busy. As many of you know, Tani Acosta is a counselor. She's an empowerment coach in the LGBTQ trans community and beyond. I mean, she embraces everyone. She specializes in therapies that help free trauma and help integrate you into being your whole authentic self. She's also a civil rights activist for the trans community, and she's available for speaking engagements. I believe she may be under Debbie Brady management. I'm not sure. But anyway, welcome, Tony. Good to see you. Okay. Thank you, Holly W., for donating to Global Water Initiatives, which helps bring safe drinking water to the world. Wanted to also announce that we do have a new book for our book club. And the new book for our book club is... do I have this on the right view on public, or do I have it on? I got to check my, yes, I do. Do I? Okay. Just want to make sure we're okay here. Yes, we are. All right. Okay. Yes, I'm fine. All right. Cutted Chicken by Shanghai. Cutted Chicken in Shanghai by Sharon Winters is the November book read. It was selected because we wanted to do something that was kind of Thanksgiving-y. And this is a book that talks about culture, food, etc., traveling through Shanghai, exploring the culture, the food, family, etc. And I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for us to explore those themes during the month of November here on our channel. And of course, I will be reaching out to Sharon Winters, or she can reach out to me at whimsyanderson@gmail.com, and we can schedule to have her hopefully come read and talk to us. Sound good? And has everyone selected a musical instrument for the next shindig? And you got to learn some polkas. Polkas are good. I mean, I can think of how many times I've danced the hora, right? Dance the hora. There's no official steps to the hora. I mean, some people have tried. I mean, is there really official steps to the hora? We just dance around in a circle. Yeah, we're dancing the hora. What are the actual steps? Yeah, we're just dancing the hora, right? But again, camaraderie, folks. That's kind of the theme that is coming to us today. All right, now that we've done our announcements, let's go ahead and do the Empath prayer. Yeah, tell me what your musical instrument is of choice, or a musical instrument you've always wanted to learn to play. It's never too late. As y'all know, I have taken up the violin at 60. I study at least an hour a day, and I'm very happy. Very happy. I am progressing much faster than I thought I would. I'm halfway through book 2. And book 2 is like yellow belt. So I'm halfway through yellow belt. So in this, so he's got like 5 steps, which he compares to being like karate belts. So I would be like the equivalent of early to mid yellow belt. So that's pretty good. In my opinion, considering the fact that I'm 60, that's pretty good. Sourdough and cheese toast. Wish I could do that. Okay, is everybody ready for the Empath's prayer? Okay, let's come together. Let's come together and do the prayer. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. You know, I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight, and it's funny. But yesterday, I was like cleaning up, and I saw the scale there, and I thought, oh, what the heck? I'll get on the scale, and I went on the scale, and it said 162 pounds. I'm 5'9", right? And that used to be really, really heavy, right? When I was younger. But now it would be like, I'll take 162 pounds at 5'9", right? So I was like, oh my God, this diverticulitis is working for me. This liquid diet, I'm so happy. Oh. But then I realized that the scale was stuck and that I had had it off, and it was actually about 5-10 pounds more. Well, no, 5 pounds more. So yeah, unfortunately, still trying to lose a couple of pounds. I don't know. Ideally, I think, what do we know about diverticulitis, IBS, is giving the digestive tract time to sweep away the waste products so you don't get overgrowth of bacteria. And so less food and more time for the stomach to rest and sweep away the trash is just simply less calories, less fat of any type, except maybe fish oil. It's we're simply consuming more food than our body can process. And it just causes the whole system to collapse. I mean, it's interesting when you think about being a Westerner, we are victims of too much. It's almost like too much has made us all, and we've lost meaning to our lives too, haven't we? Because like, what's the point? We already have it all. And of course, the point we're starting to realize now, as things are heating up all over the world, is to live for something greater than yourself. And if you truly are living for a cause greater than yourself, you're not going to have as much fear, because you're going to realize that the cause is greater than the life of a single individual. And that is the thing that the greatest generation understood, that democracy and putting a stop to the Nazis was more important than a single life. Just like what we saw when we meditated on George Washington, and he spoke to us in that meditation, and he talked about the fact that Americans are confused, and that he loved seeing the confusion because it meant that we were all retaining our individuality, and that through that individuality, we would all find nuances and new ways to express, grow, and evolve these concepts that are laid out in the Constitution. And that can only happen with diversity. And that was based, that we have to be individuals in this process and to respect that individuality. And that is how you get to peace, which is a very powerful thing, a message to receive from George Washington, because what George Washington was saying is, I lay down my life to you, humanity. I lay down my life to you, humanity, and offer you safe harbor. Think about that. Think about that prayer. I lay down my life to you, humanity. I lay down my life to you and offer you safe harbor. So that is the concept of the Oasis, right? And the Bedouins. We've talked about the Bedouins. We've talked about the fact that all human beings ultimately descend from the Bedouin, right? We all go back to sub-Sahara Africa, to the Bedouins that did not have agriculture. And so when we go back and we say, teachers, parents, elders, teach us, where did your children go wrong? We go back to Africa. We go back to sub-Sahara Africa. We go back to the oases of Africa and North Africa, to our elders. And we say, teach us how to find our way back. And the way back is, you must save the oasis. So the Oasis exists so that you can offer safe harbor to people who agree to the rules of the Oasis. If you do not agree to the rules of the Oasis, you cannot come into the Oasis. So it is okay for you to establish rules in your oasis. But once people have agreed to those rules, it's also important that we create an oasis. So I believe that we are moving towards integration in the Middle East. That is my prediction. I believe a very small percentage of agitators created a lot of these problems. I think that most people are good at heart. I know that's naive, but I think that the wall separating Israel and Gaza made things worse, because it isolated people that were part of a cult, just like North Korea, and left them to their own devices. And this cult out of Iran took hold. And it became more entrenched, and they started building holes. And then they started believing their own sanity, that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be Jew free. Yes, everything is the fault of the Jews, right? 1.5 billion Muslims and 15 million Jews are threatening them, right? So once you start to believe that delusion, and so we wind up in, we basically created North Korea. We helped create North Korea. Go worry about religion. Don't worry about science, right? So, what our ancestors are telling us to do, and the Bedouins, we have to give complete respect to the Bedouins, because they are our mothers and fathers, right? So how do we get back to that? And how we get back to that is the Oasis. And so I think what's going to happen is that Gaza is too small for the population. I think that probably the wall will come down. I think we'll have a checkpoint, and I think that people who are law-abiding citizens that have no criminal history will be given much longer visas. I think we will set up work camps in the area. I think it will be called like Oasis 1. And if you agree to the rules, we will rebuild those kibbutzim. Oasis 1, we can call it Oasis 1, Oasis 2, Oasis 3. I don't care. And the concept is this: you put in temporary housing, you create an integration community where you slowly integrate that population that's been traumatized, held hostage, programmed by racism, ignorance, and you integrate them into the general population slowly at Oasis 1, Oasis 2, in a secure location where they can work, rebuild the kibbutzim, get back to work, get a decent paid job, alleviate some of the pressure on the condensity that the population is too condensed. We bring out some people, put them in safe Oasis locations under security, not as criminals, but for their own protection. Allow them to get back to work, put some money in their pocket, allow them to see a movie, allow them to listen to music, rock and roll. You don't have to listen to rock and roll, but an Oasis is an opportunity for integration into the general population, and it will bring money back to Gaza, and it will help basically deprogram both sides. It'll give people an opportunity to put their swords down, sit down and eat meals together. These are people that may never have even had a meal with a Jewish person before. And let's try and rebuild the concept of the kibbutz. And let's go pick tomatoes together and help heal ourselves from our collective traumas. We don't need to talk about the fact that you took my grandfather's olive trees in Hebron. Yes, we did. Where'd you get that olive tree farm in Hebron? We bought it from the British. You bought it from the British. How much did you pay for that olive tree farm in Hebron? 1 shekel. Where did the British get the olive tree farm that you paid 1 shekel for in Hebron? When the Arabs killed the Jews in Hebron, we took it. So we can keep going on and on and on and on and on. They took our land. Yes, land that you took from us, which you bought from the British, because when the British came in, they told you we were bad, so you killed us all and you took our property that we bought with cash from the Turks. So we bought it from the Turks, so it's our land. We bought it from the Turks, and the Brits came, told you we were bad. You came and killed us all. Then you took our land, Hebron. Now it's my land. Then we had another war. Then now it's our land. Then you had another war. Then it's our land. You see what starts to happen? Of course, it's all the British fault, right? But we love the British, right? But how can we get back to the Oasis, right? And get off political slogans, right? From that river to this. And that is that we will construct Oasis, and it will integrate the populations. Because the number one complaint is unemployment, fear that everything is the fault of the Jews, and then you manifest your own fear, because if you think everything is the fault of the Jews, you're going to try and kill the Jews, right? We got to kill them out. So what are normal people going to do? They're going to put you in jail. You're crazy. I'm going to put you in jail. So what happens? You have a self-fulfilling reality. One group is like, it's all the fault of the Jews. We have to kill them. They're trying to kill me. Shh. You'll see how the Jews. So they round and round and round it goes, round and round. The only hope is we have to get back to our ancestors. We have to rebuild the Oasis. And the only way to do that is if you have a checkpoint and somebody has a security check and they've already passed through checkpoint 1, why do they have to keep going back and forth every day to work, back and forth, back? You pass the first checkpoint, you come into the second checkpoint, Oasis, no weapons. You give the people, young males of Gaza, something to live for. You call them peacemakers and you train them to be fighters for peace, to protect the Oasis, to embrace their ancestors. We will protect the Oasis. You take the good, which is loyalty to family, and you transpose it into, that's anthropology. Anyway, I know I'm right because I'm because I'm an anthropologist, and historically this is how it was done, right? So we go back to that. But I believe my prediction is that some version of what I just told you is going to happen for a number of reasons. First off, because the kibbutzes have been abandoned due to the war. The people are traumatized, they won't come back. They did hire Palestinians from Gaza to do the work, good people who don't want to be a part of any of this. They just want to pick the tomatoes and feed their families. And so, and it's overpopulated. So, what does a person who's not crazy, who can step back as a moderator, think is the best solution? The best solution is let's increase the economy and give them another. Look, Hamas is gone. But we can create a safe peacekeeping area while they build their democracy, create an integration oasis zone, get people back to work, clean up the kibbutzes. You know, I would love to see mediators who speak Arabic and Hebrew in the cafeteria of these kibbutzes, sitting alongside Gaza people and saying, thanks for helping us rebuild. And I believe that day is going to happen. If you lock, if you create a wall, you make things worse. Open and controlled. This is the direction we need to go. And this is what they're doing. This is what we learn from functioning societies. Open and controlled used to be very different. It used to be the lifeguard sitting up on high. I see, watching, right? He was the lifeguard, right? And so that's kind of the same concept of the Oasis. You have to have lifeguards there so that people can safely do their work, earn a decent living, etc. And I think that that's what's going to ultimately happen. Well, I think that they will bring in temporary housing so that people don't have to keep going back and forth. These are good people who've been traumatized and they've been held hostage by a cult. And they do probably have strange ideas about Jewish people and all kinds of things, but so would you and I if we were subjected to that. You have to give people an out. And you have to give people something to live for, and you have to give them something to live for that's greater than themselves. And if you build an oasis, you will give them all of that. And that is how you fix the problem. It will, of course, there will be problems, and there will be fights, and there will be people trying to punch each other. All of that is going to happen. And so before we build it, and they will build it because Israelis are practical, we're going to have to look at all of that. So that is the first remote. Does that make you feel we're going to go back to the old days of the old? Hey, it worked in the past. If it ain't broke, why fix it? You lay down your weapons, you come and work, you eat, you can do whatever you want. The Oasis, we've talked about the Oasis. It was LGBTQ friendly. There was a place to go and pray, and there was a place to go and love. There was a good place to go and dance. There was a place to go and play sports. There was a place to play with your children that was safe. The concept was safe harbor. So what do we learn when we look at George Washington and the prayer of George Washington that he gave his life for as he took Valley Forge, right? It wasn't to take away the land of indigenous peoples. That wasn't at all where his head was at. His head was at the fact that people were being held hostage under archaic laws in Britain. And they were fleeing as refugees. And so he gave his life to something greater than himself, which is to be that bridge, right? The bridge over troubled water, to lay his life down so that I offer you my life as safe harbor. How can we get back to that? How can we become, how can we give honor to our ancestors? And since we all come from the Bedouin, we all get to claim that. Isn't that great? All right. Would you like a collective reading? Oh, I forgot to give the second remote. The second remote is even more. Oh my God. The second remote, you guys are not going to believe. I had a dream about our future. You guys are not going to believe this. They are inventing these drones. You guys are not going to believe these drones. They are the size of a city and they're stationary. Remember when I told you about floating cities? Remember how I told you guys about floating cities? I went into a remote last night. We're going to see a lot of this stuff in our lifetime. I mean, this is happening now. They have invented drones. You know how you have small drones and they can move around? Well, now they have drones that they're developing with fuel cells so they continuously renew from the sun. So they're stationary. So you send this spaceship up, it's a drone and it's stationary. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the floating city. And so I'm watching the researchers. In the remote, I got to watch the research. They put it up to the right location. It has a fuel cell, and it also has where it can take fuel. And it also takes fuel from the sun. And then I watched, and a drone came, and they were like locked position. And it was like, now there was two drones, and this became a walkway, and now people were walking through two drones. And not only that, but they locked position. And now both of them fuel cells are activated. And now there's two poles going to the sun. So now they have, according to the laws of physics, even more energy stabilizing so they can't fall. This is insane. And then another one came, locked on, and they created another wall. And the next thing you know, they were connecting all of these drones, and they were stationary, and they were using these fuel cells lock on to get the energy. And so the things were solid as you could put tens of tons of weight. They would not drop because of the amount of energy to maintain them. And then they showed me, they said, okay, we're going to start experimenting now. We're going to move the field. So it was all locked. And then they started moving the structure. And then they were showing it to me, and they're like, Dr. Anderson, where would you like to spend the summer? And I'm like, oh my God, this is a freaking condo unit. I'm like, can I go to Tahiti? He's like, well, let's see. And they like float you there. And then the structure comes down. They have landing sites that they've bought. And they're like, okay, the buses are taking you to the mall. We'll be at this location until 4 p.m. I'm like, oh my God, that's how we do it. We're already there. So that's the floating cities. Isn't that crazy? But that's how it works. So they came up with a system, the drone, the fuel cells, it locks on to the sun to get energy to keep it. And then when you connect the other one, it opens up like this and creates a walkway. And then you can pass between the two drones. Is that not crazy? And then it just rotates over the earth. And then it can unlock capsule B wing is headed north. If you guys, I think I'm staying in the north wing. We were going to go to Iceland on Tuesday. Oh, we got to go 4:00. And then you watch it go. It's like, wow, we're there already. They're like, yeah, in a couple of years. Isn't that crazy? Would be another solution for Gaza, right? Once we heal that area, we got to get them set up with these new large drones. Is that not can you guys, does that not blow your guys' mind? I liked how they showed me how it collapses up to form a walkway where you can bridge between the true drones. And I liked how they showed me how the energy created a physics where it was so solid it could not fall. Even if one capsule were to break down, it would have no impact because the overall support of all the fuel cells is so great that even if one were faulty, it would have no impact on the overall structure because the nature of physics is such that every time you add another fuel cell, you double the amount of strength of the initial bond. And so consequently, based on the physics, even if one were to be faulty, the structure wouldn't fall. You would have to go and repair it. Also, they could switch to another fuel source while they repair it. It's unbelievable. They grow their own foods and vegetables, Yvette, because we now can produce meat through fermentation. So we have all of it up there. That's why trade routes are obsolete. That's why the message from Spirit that everybody fighting right now in World War III to get their bowl of rice on these obsolete trade routes doesn't mean anything in another couple of years. They're fighting for something that means nothing. Well, we're going to get my rice bowl. I'm going to get my trade route. We're going to take Africa. Who cares? Just build a floating city and go wherever the hell you want. I need my meat. Grow as much as you want. I need my vegetables. Grow as much as you want. We got fuel cells. We got everything. We got rice paddies. We got forest. You see where this is headed? So the war that's happening now, other than the racist components, but I mean, if you're talking about what ultimately fueled it, which is Iran and Russia fighting and China fighting for territory against the West, in the end, none of that will matter. Because trade routes won't matter. There will be no need for trade routes. Because the function of the earth is not Armageddon, which the function of the earth is to create heaven on earth. And the problem with religion, organized religion, is that too much magical thinking and organized religion is going to destroy the planet. Because what's happening in Israel is that you don't have enough sane people, and the religious kooks are manifesting Armageddon because they think it's real. And the antidote is the Oasis and to diffuse all the crazy magical thinking. They just made it up. There is no Armageddon. That's not even what the Torah says. It was just some misinterpretation. But so many people think it's real that if you think it's real, you will manifest it. So the antidote to that is that Israel has got to diffuse all the religious rhetoric, because there are a lot of people in Israel that think it's real. And if you think it's real, it will be real. And that's also the fault of the conservatives. I'm sorry. Yeah. And it's exactly the same cell, Joel. I mean, and it's much safer too, and it's better for the animals. But it's weird. Like, it'll come in a brick of chicken breast, but it pretty much comes like that anyway, right? And then you just take it out and slice it and make your chicken breast or whatever. It's the same cells. It's just you grow it in a fermentation system like growing beer, instead of growing the muscle on an animal's arm. But it's the same muscle cells, but you don't need to hack an animal's arm off to get to it. I mean, if you want to get to the meat, what do you have to do? You have to hack the animal's arm off, right? That's pretty gruesome. Let's be honest. So if you really want that, there's a safe way we can grow this stuff in that's not going to hurt you. If you can drink a beer, you can eat it. It's fine. It's just a beer fermenting process. But yeah, so there's no salmonella poisoning. There's no cryptosporidium. There's no all these. There's no E. coli, botulism. All these things will be gone because we've created the oasis in the sky, right? So today is all about how can we get to oasis, but diffusing people from false teachings. In Buddhism, they talk about this, that there are going to be a people that are going to start manifesting crazy in their mind. They see war, and then they don't, and everywhere they go, there is war. It's like you see in their head, war, and everywhere they go, I don't know why, but everywhere I go, there's war. Maybe if you would stop meditating on war, there would be less of it. And that's not true. That's not what the Torah says. The Bible doesn't say anything about Armageddon. There are spiritual awakenings, but you're not supposed to take it literally as the earth coming shattering. Your world may be shattered. It may feel like a ring of fire, right? The awakening often feels like a ring of fire, but it doesn't mean you're supposed to literally blow the planet up. And that's what's so dangerous. That's also what's so dangerous about literasts. For example, in the Torah, fire is used as a symbol, Aish, for purification. It didn't mean you were supposed to burn things down. They're talking about the fire of purity, which is similar to what the Sikhs talk about in Kundalini, right? The fire purification rituals, the prayer, the lighting of candles, the use of these symbols as a way of connecting to the divine, right? So they were using these highfalutin metaphysical terms that if you came from that culture, you would understand the poetry, which is quite beautiful in the Aramaic, right? But unfortunately, people started to take this stuff literally, and it's become a global threat. They were historically in Judaism, they were called repentance poems. It was a classic type of Jewish poetry. Yehuda Halevi, you can check out his work. These repentance poems. That were part of crime. Also, check out the work Tshuva by Rabbi Cook. And the purpose was to motivate you to become a better person. That was the purpose. So they would talk about the fire inside their belly and the pain that and often people would fast. They would go without food or water for a day, or even, which is very hard to do in the Middle East, as acts of purges. They would do these purges, particularly if they had, again, we're talking about people that evolved out of a Bedouin culture where you're either with us or you're against us. And see, people would go out and they would purge in the desert, and they would eat cacti and vomit and purge, similar to what you see in Dances with Wolves when she's grieving her husband's death, right? These were purges and rituals. Jesus went and did a purge, right? It was something that people did as a way of getting close to God. And sometimes they may have had, there's a theory that sometimes they took hallucinogens. Some of the cacti may have had caused, some of these purges may have had an effect. And so what happened when the literates, some of whom didn't speak the language, started to translate these works, is they started to think that that earth itself would be hell, and they didn't understand the spiritual realms, and they didn't understand the style of repentance poems, which was part of the culture. Well, Yehuda Halevi is probably my favorite when he talks about his child died. He was a Spanish Jewish poet. And he writes these poems about the grief of losing his son, but Yehuda Halevi, and how he was forced to flee. I think it was during the Inquisition. I think he flees to Israel, and his son is killed. And he says, he writes this one line, "Without a parting kiss from my dying child," and it just rocked me. That's Yehuda Halevi. Repentance poems, the purpose of them is to get into your soul. And I think that people who read the New Testament didn't really We're very dramatic people. What can I tell you? You should see Yiddish theater. No, we don't want you to blow yourselves up. We want you to beat your chest and apologize to your wife. That's more of don't blow anything up. That's the purpose. Meditate on these concepts and become a better human being. Would you like a collective reading? Excuse me. Sorry about the cough today. It's a little dusty. There's no such thing. We don't really believe that in the original. They were just repentance poems. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. The English is not as pretty as the original. I mean, you recite the Hebrew or the Aramaic, and you hear it and you meditate on it. It's much more beautiful. Psalms of Solomon would be a classic example of repentance poems. If you read Psalm 6, where he weeps so much I melt my couch with my tears, like the weeping, the heat from my tears is melting the couch, right? Doesn't mean that, appeared a melting upon his couch. No, you guys are missing the poetry, right? People who literally take everything serious, literally, and think his couch melted. Because Bathsheba's husband died. I believe that was why he was crying. He sent the man to die because of his lust for Bathsheba, and then the man did die. It's believed that that is why he wrote the poem. Can you imagine having to live with that? So he wept so much, he said, I think that I'm going to melt my own couch. That's how much I'm crying right now for what I've done. The heat coming off my face. That's how ashamed I am of what I've done. That's some powerful prayers, right? Yeah. All right, permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records for the collective. And let's take a look at what the message is for you today. You may feel connected to these readings. If not, you can go ahead and pass it on to the next person. But let's take a look and let's see what the universe has in store for us. Either way, it's great to see you all. Oh, he did? Beautiful. Yeah. The prayers are beautiful. I mean, Psalm 6, I've really meditated on what it must have been like for Dave. I don't think I could live with can you imagine living with yourself after doing something like that? Being that impulsive? You really start to, when you really understand what this person is saying, he did, what he's confessing to you, say, okay, Eureka, now I understand the genre of this poem. Now go teach it to your friends, right? Now go teach them, like, it's not a real Armageddon. Well, if you were Saul, who becomes Paul, would you feel guilty? What kind of repentance poems would you be writing, right? So it's another way of looking at it. Okay, where you are at right now, the karma card is one of confidence. Yes, we're all coming into confidence in the sense that I think many of us are just accepting who we are. For example, during this whole thing with Israel, I lost some friends, unfortunately, for a number of reasons. And it's very painful when that happens, but if you know you're a good person and you know you're trying to do your best and you know you mean well and you'll do better. Then that's all that you can hope for yourself, right? Even if other people don't understand us or whatever's going on. But I feel like at this point in your life, you are starting to know who you are. That's what it looks like to me, because the karma card is the Nine of Pentacles, and that's confidence. So I feel like many of you are coming to a place where I ain't perfect, but gosh darn it, I love me, and I'm not a bad person, and I'm not a bad egg, and I'm all right. Yeah, you're all right. The base of the matter is Five of Swords, taking away the weapons of those who would harm you. Think about that. Attempt to the best of your ability to heal misunderstandings, but also understand that not everybody can be with us. Not especially somebody like me. I'm very intense. Some people love it, right? Some people just love whimsy's intensity. Other people are like, I can't handle it, right? So you just have to accept. Not it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? And the same may be true for you. Six of Cups, though, in the first house would indicate that many of us will be able to repair these misunderstandings, because if you have love and goodwill towards others, rest assured that this result will result in healing and positive energy. Don't waste your time creating sacred relationships with people that don't want to do the work. Don't waste your time creating sacred relationships with people that don't respect you or don't want to be honest. It's a waste of your time. You're either like me and you're living for something greater than yourself, and we're either going to rebuild Terra, right? Rebuild Terra. I was looking at that today. You guys ever seen that? Maybe after everybody leaves, we'll all sit together and watch that 2-minute scene from Gone with the Wind together, right? Where, as God is my witness, I'm going to rebuild, right? Pioneer spirit. We have that in us, but if you can't find your fellow pioneers that are going to be alongside you for that great mission to create safe harbor, like George Washington, as you build your heaven on earth, then that person can't be part of the project. Then you got to let them go. But I'm seeing a lot of romance, man. A lot of you guys are falling in love or something. Look at the Six of Cups. True love returns to you, and a romantic situation as well. What is above you? Towers. You got to be honest with people, and you got to get real. And what you sit in, romantic interest. Yes, I'm seeing romantic interest for some of you. Avoid too much destruction and intensity. Anything that's going to be bad for you spiritually, like too much negativity. Like I had to turn the news off because it had me in tears. I can't. Yes, we should know enough to where we are informed and not be making stupid statements about things we don't know anything about, putting people's lives at risk. But once you do know the facts, you got to take a break. It can't be the news 24 hours a day. We do have this kind of like tower energy around people, and people feeling a need to collectively kind of protect themselves a little bit. Business remains strong in the coming years, and mediators are coming into your life. It's a feeling of mediation, like me predicting that we will have an Oasis, areas where we can help these people and integrate Israel and Gaza, etc. I believe in that. I believe the great mediators are coming. Avoid conflict whenever possible. Work on your own self-development. This is a time of great transformation for you in the world if you give yourself the opportunity to change. Let go of harsh values and assumptions about yourself and other people. You do not know the whole story until you have walked in their shoes. Avoid or hang up false judgments about others, and instead focus on your own development. And that is your reading. I hope it helps. Interesting, huh? A lot of major arcana cards for people today. What's that about? You guys want to talk about what's going on? Because that is a heck of a lot of intensity I just had to wade through. Woo! Look at those major arcanas. A lot of serious relationship stuff going on, but look at the creativity also, man. Major transformation in the areas of arts, spirituality, recognition of self. There was, oh yeah, power of the self. Power of the self as an individual, you know? I have no confidence, Deanne. I have no self-esteem. It's all an act. I don't have any confidence, trust me. I just come out here, I pray, and I do my best. And yeah, I have to accept the fact that not everyone's going to like you. You know, I'm like a little kid. I cry if people, I'm sensitive. But I got to get past that because that is also ego. And if I want to learn from people like George Washington, then I have to pray. How can I be safe harbor to animals, to whatever you got to have them. The only way to be mentally healthy, the conclusion of the remotes is you must live for something greater than yourself. What are you willing to give up your life for? Nothing. Then you're probably neurotic and depressed, because the takeaway here is that the fundamental nature of human beings is such, because we are Bedouin at heart, is that we live for something greater than ourselves, and that is the tomorrow, the future we're creating for our descendants, and maintaining the oasis, heaven on earth, right? Tikkun Olam was maintaining the oasis. We've lost our way. We don't know who we are anymore. We've forgotten who our ancestors. We got to get back to Africa, right? We got to get back to the basics. We got to get back to sub-Saharan Africa, to the simple life, worshiping the pregnant mother, right? Treating our mothers like gold. I would love to do that. Be like, you got to treat Palestinian Gaza women like that? You're an Israeli after what happened? 13 dead, 100. She wants, I will personally give her a foot massage. If she's a pregnant woman from Gaza, I will bring her tea, massage her hands. If we want to put an end to this nightmare, we must treat our mothers like the queens that they are. Safety, love, compassion. That is the antidote, my friends. The Bedouins have shown us the way, right? What they prayed to was the pregnant mother. To mother. Everything is mother. Everything is, all songs are to the mother. All praise is to the mother. And the earth is the ultimate mother. It was before Islam. It was before all of that. And there are still Bedouin today that practice the earth religions. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Cheers. Well, that's why people say, how do we get back to the garden? It's this memory we have, right? We have the memory of our Bedouin ancestors. We've lost our way. Look, some of it was necessary. In Judaism, they talk about the exile. They talk about, why did this happen to our ancestors? Why did we have to go into exile and then become attached to land, right? Because we were not attached to the land, and then we had to become attached to the land. And it was necessary for the evolution of human beings. That was basically the spiritual conclusion. That is why the Bedouin starts to get involved in things like farming and agriculture, and settles down and goes and moves to Europe. And, all those cultural experiences were necessary for the intellectual and the spiritual development of humanity. Otherwise, we would have just stayed in the oasis, right? The fall of Adam and Eve is they're cast out of the oasis. It's a reference to the loss of Bedouin life, right? So it's a memory of life before the fall, right? When we lived in these oases, the oasis was taken over by war, armies, the trade routes, right? It evolves into that. How do we get back to that? That's the thing that's the thing we're struggling with, right? Okay, let's do some blitzes. Okay, hi Georgie. You say, will extraterrestrials reveal themselves soon? Ooh, let's take a look. Will extraterrestrials reveal themselves soon? Oh, Fingal, you're so sweet. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's been donating. Speaking of the Oasis, I thought it would be nice since the Bedouin were the protectors of water. If we would, in honor of our Bedouin brothers and sisters, we would be raising money for water today. Yeah. Will we make contact with extraterrestrials? Yes. All right. So, one of the theories is that some of the species of extraterrestrials are humans, and that these interdimensional spacecraft are time machines. This is one of the theory, and that what we're looking at is human evolution. That humans will become their muscles will become less developed in another 100 million years, or however long it is. Our brains will become more developed. This is the theory of humanity's future. We'll live in floating cities, right? So the idea is that the aliens are us, right? They're us a million years from now. And what they're doing is they're monitoring us through these time portals. And so, because of anthropologists that have looked at physiological evolution of humans and where we will most likely wind up, some of them have said that where we wind up looks shockingly a lot like gray aliens, right? So Grush and other people who have done research on aliens and evolution, etc., say, I think some of these species might be us in a million years. And of course, the question is, if you did develop a time traveling machine, which probably the day will come when we'll be able to do that. Why not? Human beings seem to be able to do anything if they set their mind to it. So say in another 1,000 years, we have the technology. Would you go back to Earth and monitor? Probably you would, right? And you would want to know how we can make things better, etc. But the card here, in answer to your question about communication with extraterrestrials, is the Six of Cups, which is the ability to reach out and communicate with others. So now the research out of the Mexico aliens is saying that it's growing, that it is real, right? That they are in fact real. They've done a lot of imaging of the skeleton of the Peruvian. They were out of Peru, but then they've done multiple imaging out of Mexico, etc. Now they have more than one of these species. And again, the theory is that it's not an alien, that these are actual species living here on Earth. They've got 3 fingers, which would suggest that they are related to the dinosaur. And if that's true, then then their physical characteristics could be over 200 million years old, right? And so that would theoretically give us a heads up of just how theoretically evolved some of these species are. And it's like an ant thinks that the whole world evolves for the ant collecting the grain and bringing it back to the mountain. And we humans are like that ant bringing the grain back to the mountain. We think that we're all that in a bag of chips, and we think we are the most evolved species. And lo and behold, we finally now are evolving to the point where we're starting to realize that we're not alone, and there might be other species on this planet that we're just now beginning to notice, because we now have reached a point of intellectual awareness where we can now detect it, and the scientific ability to detect it. And what we could be looking at is species far more evolved than us living right alongside us, but our lack of scientific development prevents us from seeing them. But here's contact, travel, I think concerns of war or concerns of potential violence is definitely there with the King of Wands. However, we have a Knight of Cups, which would lead me to think that contact is going to start happening, but there could be fear along the way. And I think one of the reasons contact could be happening is because the theory, if they are our future selves, and we do end up blowing ourselves up because of false beliefs, we really think that Armageddon is a real physical thing in the physical world and don't understand what a repentance poem is or the culture that would write them or the genre, or you just have a bunch of crazy people who, I'm sorry, that don't speak Aramaic. They don't understand cultural context. They think it's all literal. And if we don't stop them, they're going to blow us all up. And so what Buddhists would call false belief systems, false Armageddon belief systems. So how, what do you do in a situation like that? And I do believe that the whole world is going to have to be very proactive in terms of talking people down off the roof. But a lot of people speculate that the reason aliens are contacting us now is because it gets to the point where religion takes hold, to the point, and this goes back to the Netanyahu government. He was encouraging religious extremism. Well, the problem is that religious extremism is not based on reality. It's based on fanaticism, extremism, and delusion, and it's actually becoming a global threat. Yeah. All right. Let's do some more blitzes while I have me some coffee. I think Putin's fine. I think he had his minister put out that false rumor. He wants to see if anybody cares. And then they do data collection, and then they deliver it to him. Five widows cried, 2 people applauded. Okay, good to know. Putin's health. I don't know if he has Parkinson's so much as he fidgets. I have always felt he may have some kind of drug problem. That is the one thing that struck me, because it was not publicly discussed. It was not public information. And yet when I scan him, and I do feel like this individual may have had or may currently have an opioid problem. I feel like something is going on here. I talked about this, possible that his arms, I want to see if there are any track marks. I'll be quite blunt with you. It happens every time I align with this person. I want to look at my track marks. I feel like this person's got a story, even here, even injections up to here. Like, when was this going on? Is this something you fought? Is this something that happened to you when you were in East Berlin? Is this something that came later? Is this something that, how did you get exposed to this? Opium. Sexy lady in red. This guy's got an opium addiction. I always feel like he has an opium addiction. I feel like somebody administering opium, seduction of the opium. He's Fox trying to flee a situation. He tries to get out of this. Inverted flowers, no deal. He's not interested in peace. He's not interested in peace. No deal. It looks to me like heroin. This, by the way, is Sexy Woman in Red, and the spirit of opium in Carlos Castaneda talks about opium as a seductive female in red. She takes you like the opium. So, yeah, the guy I think he's got an opium addiction. It makes me wonder who supplied him with this stuff, who kept the secret, who shot him up. Who knows? Who doesn't know? Was Petrosian shooting him up? Was Petrosian supplying him with heroin? Was it Petrosian's little secret about him? The guy he trusted that was supplying him more than just food, supplying him with food, supplying him with poison, and what else? Anything on the black market Putin, Putin wanted, he got it from Petrosian. What all did that include? What all could Petrosian get for Putin and keep a secret? Yeah, red poppies. So in Carlos Castaneda's book, it was the seductress in red. I think if I were to give any assessment of his problems as a remote viewer and an empath aligned with that energy, I believe this individual may have a heroin addiction, and I believe he has injected. And I believe he has injected so many times, I feel track marks going all the way up to here, which means that this was a chronic problem. And I believe that Petrosian knows about this problem, knew about the problem. Well, obviously, you would kill anybody who might theoretically leak something like that. Nobody can know that the leader of this world is a heroin addict, and he's got people close to him shooting him up. What a nightmare. I think he may have a colostomy bag. There was something I saw at one point that made me suspect either that or something else. But he was trying to cover something at one point. Likely a coup. Romancing with somebody else's son, over the rainbow, a message comes. Putin's finished. Yes, Joel, they will attempt a coup. Huh. It's Britain again. Britain's going to try and out him. I think he knows. The only reason I think that they would not want to replace Putin is fear that something worse would come. You know what I mean? All right, Panama Canal jammed with ships. Will we have shortage of goods, products again? Whoa, I didn't know that. Thanks, Munchie. Let's see. Oh, that's so exciting. You know, these new drones, the drones that I was telling you about are going to completely change shipping in the stars. New messaging service. Love how they use storks. A baby's coming. How would Spirit describe a drone carrying something and dropping it off? How would the universe has a sense of humor, right? How would it describe a drone? I think that's funny as hell. It's like the great chat GPT in the sky, right? What will be the future of drone? What's a drone? It's something that carries something and delivers. Stork? The future is drones for shipping. Isn't that funny? Isn't that bizarre? The future stars delivery service in the way of shipping. Smooth waters, blessings and good luck. So it's in plainer words, this stuff will be cured in a very short. A lot of problems in the world are going to be cured through drones, drone technology, including housing shortages. What the hell am I reacting to? Oh my God. Something is going on here. But yeah, it's a kind of neat way. Oh, there's some dust here. I've got to clean. There's some dust I'm reacting to. Okay, housing. I like sitting here, but the only problem is that a lot of dust collects. And so I tend to get like dust bunnies in my throat. And that's the problem. Should probably find somewhere to sit that's not as dusty. It's not my scarf. It's because I can see the dust bunnies. I didn't dust yesterday before Friday before Shabbat. I usually try to clean, but I haven't been feeling that well because I had that stomach thing going on. So the dusting, I tend to get a lot of coughing over here. It's something that the Biden administration is getting criticized a lot about. And the main thing is lack of funding in HUD. HUD doesn't have enough funding from what I can see here. Yes, we're going to have new government programs for housing. Happens very quickly, a movement. Birds at the feeder, a lot going on. In plain words, we have a lot that wanting to feed. This is leading to dark clouds. Whip it into shape. Come on, Biden, do something. Results in deeper well. Where do we get the money? Where do we get the money? We got to go deeper well. Little hobby homes. So yes, the big problem now is finding a program that they can implement and also being able to afford it. I do have an air filter, Joe. It's fine. It's gone now. It's just that I got a bunny in a hairball in my throat. Oh my gosh. That was fun today. Did you guys have fun? What do you think? I think it's great. I think it's a beautiful future, but we have to deprogram people from Christian cults and Buddhist cults and Jewish cults and all, there's a lot of people out there that are confused. They're drunk on crazy religious ideas that are a threat to all of us. And we all need to be grounded in reality and come together and create Oasis. That's what today is about. And we will do it. We will do it. All right. Love and light. Thank you so much. Thank you to Debbie Brady. Also, hello, the Dreams Coach. Thank you she has helped create a beautiful fan pages for us. I appreciate you, Debbie. She's also offering a free reading once a month. She selects somebody from the fan page to get a free reading with me. Terry was the last winner, but I haven't heard back from her yet. So Terry Giordani, I think that's right. Email me. You got a free reading. Is there anything else I need to ask? Oh, yes. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com or just book me directly through Booksy is the easiest way. And that information is below this video. If you need a quick 5-minute reading, I do those as well. Those are pre-taped. I think they only cost $30. That's if you just need a quick reading. And I can usually get that back to you in less than a week. That's through Wizio. That information is also below this video. Okay, be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. Blessings, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Bye-bye.